Yeah. All right. Have a good Yom Tov, Dave. And
have a good Yom Tov. Speak to you later.
All right, here we go. Okay, so let's go. So today we have some hard. I good Yom Tov. What are we holding here? So we got up to the top of, where is it? Tzadi beis, right? Yeah. Because of the first part, I don't know if anybody learned this part of the daf yet today.
Yeah, we got to a little bit before the Mishnah, I think, like 3/4 of the way down.
Yeah. But I can't understand what's going on with this Gemara. So whatever. I'm telling, this week has been for me for the daf, I think the hardest since the beginning of the cycle. I don't know why. Maybe because of Yom Tif, Yom Kippur, and the hard Gemaras. Either way, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. But Amar Abaya, it's 7 lines down from the 7 lines down from the top. So Amar Abaya. So somebody, he tells a woman, which the Gemara is going to say later, it means a single girl, that my nechasim, my property, is going to go to you. And then when you die, after you die, leplini, then it's going to somebody else. Right? So meaning he's telling her, you get my nechasim when you're married to me, but once you die, that's out. And then she got married, right? And then of course she died. So so her husband, right? Her husband becomes the leikeach. It's as if he bought it from her. Right? So Mamela, there's nothing left for anybody else. Meaning, so we need a little bit of Akdam here. So we said twice, we had in the Masechta before, that the Takonas Usha, right? We said that a woman brings into her marriage a field. The husband gets the payers of the field, the woman keeps the field. But if she sells her field, the husband can get it back. Right? So Mamela, the husband is considered like a leikeach. So basically, since he bought it from her, so now he's taking away the property, meaning this guy came to this woman and said, you're going to, let's say it was her father. He says, you're going to yarshin this for me, and then after I die, or after you die, then it's going to go. But she sold it, so there's nothing to give to anybody else. So basically, the husband's able to grab that karka and keep it. That's essentially what Abayit says. Come on. So who's that like? Yotana, ki yatana detanya nichse leich. If somebody said, "Give me belongings," and then when you die, it's going to somebody else. So So let's say the first guy takes the properties that were given to him and he sells it. So now what? The second guy can go take it from whoever he sold it to, because he didn't have a right to sell it. It was given away after the death. The Rebbi, that's Rebbi. The second guy only gets what the first guy left over, and since he sold it, there's nothing left. Meaning, so it's a Machlokes Tanoim. Again, basically, the guy is trying. I'm assuming what's going on here is that the guy who's giving things away is trying to get everybody happy. He says, you know what? While you're alive, you can have the field. Once you die, it goes to your brother, let's say. So what happens when that first guy sells the field and he's alive? Does it still go to the brother, or do we say no? He sold it. There's nothing left. So Rav Shimon Gamliel says you're allowed to do it, and Abaya must be saying like Rav Shimon Gamliel. I'm sorry, Abaya is going like Abaya, not like Rav Shimon Gamliel. So Gemara says, "Umi Omer Abaya Hachi." Did Abaya really say like Rebbi? V'Omer Abaya Ezu Rasha Aram. Who is a Rasha? Who Aram literally means naked, but Aram means that the trick guy that does trick. Zeh Hamasi Eitzel Limkar B'Nechasim. That's somebody who takes eitzes to sell people's belongings. Rav Shimon Gamliel, like what Rav Shimon Gamliel said. Right? So, meaning if you do a scam, meaning this guy knows that a guy gave him a field or gave him belongings and said, it's yours till you die, and then after you die, it goes to somebody else. And that guy purposely goes and sells it to somebody else. So that's a scammer. Right? So Rav Shimon Gamliel is saying that's considered like a scamming type of thing to do. So why would Abaya say like Rav Shimon Gamliel if he then goes and says to do like Rav Shimon Gamliel is a terrible thing? Right? I think I said before that Abaya goes like Rebbi. No, Abaya is going like Rav Shimon Gamliel. Because Abaya says that it's gone. Once the guy sells it, he sells it. So how can on one side, on one hand, Abaya is saying like Rav Shimon Gamliel, and then on the other hand, he says not like him. So Gemara says, Mikamar Tinase, did Abaya say that the woman should get married and therefore her husband is going to be considered like a purchaser? Nisas comes and says, if she got married, then the husband gets first dibs. Right? So meaning we're saying Abaya is not telling you to go do it. Of course he's saying to go do it would be a terrible thing. He's saying that if the woman got married, the husband gets to keep it. Abaya, Nixi lech va'achrayach lepleni.
So, Yago, you choppy or just me?
I think we all lost him.
Yeah, it looks that way. Let me call him.
I'm texting him. He knows.
You know?
Yeah, but where's he holding?
That's
What's
Tommy.
where are we up to? I'm trying to find it. I can't find it.
Right before the Mishnah.
I'm not nuts. We did the mission last night.
No, we did not. We didn't finish the parak last night.
We didn't finish the parak, I know.
Tzaddik came and beis.
Right before the end of the parak, I'm looking for a Mishnah. There's no. I knew it's Tzadik. Hey. Oh, there he is. Okay, got it. I thought there was a Mishnah before the parak.
What? You don't know what we're up to?
No, I couldn't find whatever. I was confused.
Right. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back 2 lines of Amar Abaya. So Abaya says, right, another similar case. Nechasai leich v'achrayach lepleni. If a guy tells a lady, I'm giving my stuff to you, my belongings to you, and then after you, somebody else is getting it. Umachro meisa, and then she sold the property, and then she died. Habal maitzim yada lekucha. So the Baal can go to those people and say, hey, that karka belonged to me. Right? Because he has first dibs in it from his wife. V'achrayach miyad Baal. Right? And then what can happen? The guy who's supposed to get it after the wife died can go take it from the husband. And then the guy that bought it can go take it from the guy that was supposed to get it. And everything goes into the hands of the lekeach. Right? Now we're going to see that, meaning the lekeach ultimately, there's a whole circle that went on here. The wife was supposed to get it, then the husband's supposed to get it, then it's supposed to go back to the guy who's supposed to inherit it after the wife, and we go around a circle. Now, remember, if you remember from the Mishnah yesterday, we had a case where the woman was the guy was married to 2 women. The first wife said she is not going to get involved if the husband sold property, and then the husband dies and doesn't give her a kesuba. She's not getting involved with the kesuba. And she's never going to collect the field. The second wife says she will collect the field. Then he dies with no money. So the first wife can't collect the field. The second wife could. Second wife collects the field. The first wife can go get it from the second wife, because the first wife only said she's not going to start up with the guy that buys the field. She's not going to have a problem with the guy from the second field. So with the co-wife, so then she takes it. Then if she takes it, then the guy who bought the field, I hope this doesn't sound like Chinese, the guy that bought the field can go take it from her because he says you didn't have any din, and we go around in a circle and nobody gets it. So you have to figure something out. So the Gemara is saying the same thing is happening here. The similar thing is happening, but here we're saying the guy that bought the property is the one that's able to keep it. So what I asked, keeps going around and around until they make a deal. So my answer is Hasam Islup say the Lakulu. By the Mishnah, they're all going to lose. Everybody's going to lose something. Here, it's only the guy that bought the field is going to have a loss if we don't give it to him because he bought a field seemingly thinking that he's allowed to buy it without knowing that there's so much history here. Okay. It's very difficult. So also Rafram Amr l'Shmaitz Kamedu Ravashi. Rafram said this Shmaitz in front of Ravashi. Miyomer Abaya Hachi. Did Abaya really say this? That the one that was supposed to be given the Yerusha after she dies can keep it? Amr Abaya Nichsi Lech V'Achrayach LePloni. If he says I'm giving you some belongings and then I'm giving it to Ploni, the Venisis, right? If she gets married. And that guy doesn't get anything after the Baal. So how come we said before that Abaya says that this fellow that's supposed to get something does? Why? So it's a steer on Abaya's Amalei. So when it says Hasam Damar La Keshi Pnuya, there we're talking about when she was single, right? When does the husband get kadima as a new purchaser? That's when this whole situation happened when the girl was single. Here, we're talking about where she was married. What, right? Well, so what was he saying to her when he said, I'm going to give it to somebody else? I'm giving it to the other guy. I'm not giving it to the husband. Okay, I'm not so sure if that made any sort of sense, but yeah. Then the last part of it is the same thing with the Baal Chayv. You can have the same situation where you have two partners and you have a guy that lent them money, and one of the partners says, "I'm not going to start up with you." And if there's an issue of default on the payment, the other one says yes. So he goes and we go around in a circle. The Baal Chayv goes to the second one and says, "Okay, so pay up." Or here's the karka. The second one says, "Okay, now I have it." Then the first one says the second one, "Well, I'm fighting with. I could take the karka from you," and we go around and around. So Tana v'chein Baal Chayv v'shnei lekuchas. That's with the Baal Chayv and two lekuchas, like we just said, right? Shimon. The way you basically have is Shimon or Ruvain. How did it go? How should we say it? Shimon owed Ruvain 100 zuz. Shimon had a couple of fields. And he sold it for two. He sold each one for 50. So for half, each field had half of the loan. Then Ruvain said, I'm not gonna collect from the fields for you because I feel bad for you. If you're not gonna have money, you can default on the payment. But the other partner, Levi, didn't. So he can basically go to Levi, and then we go around as a merry-go-round. It's the same thing with the woman who owes money, and you have two lekuchas, right? So that's basically that case. Okay, I hope we could explain it properly. But either way, if not, I apologize. That we make a siyum. The island must be davening. So okay, Hadran Allah, we show you nothing. Fine, that was a very extremely difficult pair. Fine. So the Mishnah Almana. The new parak Almana. Now we talk about all the stuff what Almana is supposed to get and not to get. So Almana nizanis b'nichsi yisayim. Almana can get fed from the nichsi yisayim. That we learned many times. Once an Almana dies, the estate, she has to continue eating from the estate until she gets remarried. Once she gets remarried, the estate stops giving her. They give her the kesuba, and then they stop feeding her. So she gets fed from nichsi yisayim. Ma'isi yadeh shalen. But because she's getting fed from the estate, so whatever money she brings in, whatever work she has, goes to her. Goes to the estate because they're not going to give her freebies. And they're not chayav to bury her. Right? Meaning these yarshim, we're not talking about where it's their mother. We're talking about where it's their stepmother. Right? Why? Because only those that are mechuyev, only those that actually have, meaning it's tit for tat. So only those that gain things are able to are mechuyev to bury. Here they're not gaining anything, right? So they're not yarshim. So then they're not getting her kesuba. So Mela, since they're not getting her kesuba, they don't have to pay for her burial. Yarsheh yarshik subasa, but her yarshim who do get her kesuba, they're chayav mikfura, right? They're chayav in kfura. So meaning only people that are going to get something out of the kesuba are mechuyev to do the burial. Fine. So Gemara says, "Nizainis tanan." She gets fed, meaning it has to be. They're mechuyev to feed the almana, or hani zainis tanan, or is it a woman, an almana, who the yarshim decide to feed? Meaning, basically, the Gemara is asking: is she mechuyev to, or is she not mechuyev? Are they mechuyev to support, or are they not mechuyev to support her? So the Gemara says, "Mizanis tanan." Is it? And the Gemara is expounding now on the question. Is it nizainis that she gets fed? Uka'anshe golul, and it's the way the people from golul put into the kesuba. We had in the beginning of the Masechta that golul and Yehuda had different girsayos for the kesuba. So the people from golul, then the lashon in the kesuba was that they would put the husband would write in the kesuba, "You're sitting in my house until you leave." And it's not enough to not give her, meaning it's in the kesuba, they're mechuyev to feed her. Or do we say that gets fed? Yehuda, and it's like what the people in Yehuda write in their kesuba, which is you can get fed until the yarshim decide they don't want to feed you anymore, in which case they give you kesuba and then they could let you go. And if you want, and if they want, they don't have to feed her. So again, essentially the question is are you Simon or whoever, the yarshim b'chuyev to feed the woman or not? So on to tomorrow's daf now. So Tashema, Amar Reb Zera, Amar Shmuel, Metzias Almana la'atzma. When a woman, an almana, finds, she finds things in the street, she gets to keep it. Right? So now why does she get to keep it? If you say that almana, it says hani zaynis, meaning she's not mechuyev to be fed. If they want, they could feed her. So then shop her. So she gets to keep her own things that she finds in the street because doesn't belong. She's not required to be fed by the Yisayim. But if you say that it's nizainas, navi kabal, right? Then it should be like a baal, like a regular husband, which we know the din is by a husband. Ma baal matzias isha labayla, just like by a husband, whatever the wife finds goes to her. Hachanami matzias isha layarshim. So too here, since she's being fed by the yarshim, so mela she should have to keep that she should have to give up her metzias. So Gemara says, no, that's not a proof. I will really tell you that she has to be fed. Okay, time of my Omer Rabbana metzias isha. How come the Chachamim said, okay, so if a husband feeds the wife, so the metzias have to go to her, they'll go to the husband, because otherwise there's going to be fights. Right? You don't want the husband to be regret. He won't have regret that he's, oh look, I'm supporting this woman, and then she goes and she finds $1,000 in the street and she keeps it. She doesn't even put it into the pot. Right? Hani tahavi le'eva. But here, let them have Eva. They could have Eva. Who cares? The Yisayim have to feed her. This doesn't have a choice. It's not a spouse who they can't just divorce their mother-in-law, their mother or stepmother, whichever one it was. Fine. So that's what we're saying. So we don't have an answer if they're required or they're not required. Now we get into a little bit of agadata, much awaited agadata. Amar Rav Yossi bar Chanina, kol malacha sheisha ha'isa l'bayla. Any malachas that a wife does for her husband, almana ha'isa l'yarshim, almana has to do for the yarshim, chutz m'bizigas hakais, except for pouring the cup, vatzah samita, and baking the beds, v'chatzas panav v'yada v'raglav. Because these are obviously things that are meant to be done for a spouse, not to be meant for a mother to do for children, or for somebody from a previous generation to do the next generation. Any malachas that an Eved does for his master, Talmud a Talmud should do for his Rebbi. Chutz mi hataras minol, except for untying his shoes. Right? Why? What's with untying his shoes? So Rashi says that if somebody sees him untying the shoes, he's going to think he's an Eved Kanani, because only an Eved Kanani would go untie people's shoes, and they're going to think he's an Eved Kanani, and therefore they're not going to let him do a shidduch. They're not going to marry him because they say, "Oh, this guy's a goy." That's only if nobody knows who this Talmud is. So therefore, they're going to think he's an Evet Kanani. But the place where they recognize him, less lamba, there's no problem. That's only if he doesn't wear tefillin. But if he's wearing tefillin, less lamba, because we know that an Evet Kanani doesn't wear tefillin. He only does mitzvahs like an isha. So if he's wearing tefillin, must be that he's not an Evet Kanani, they'll still do a shidduch with it. Fine. Now this is like a very interesting line. Anybody who doesn't allow his Talmud to help him, it's as if he's taking away chesed from him. I'm not sure exactly what that means. What does it mean? You're taking away chesed. Shenemar lamas mereu chesed, taking chesed from his friend. Meaning, so essentially, a Rebbi has to let the Talmud be meshameshim. From Nachman Yitzchak, af pyrek mimenu yira shamayim. If you don't let him be meshamesh you, then it even takes away yira shamayim. Shenever the yira shaka yazav, the yira of Hashem, you're going to be leaving. Fine. So that's a little bit of a gada to this. So I didn't get a chance to look up in Shulchan Aruch exactly how he paskins with this, but it is brought in Shulchan Aruch. Let's say an almana, she grabbed onto metaltalin for her mezainis, meaning the yarshim are not feeding her, so she went into the house and took whatever. She took a watch, she took jewelry. Masha tafsa tafsa. So whatever she took, and we don't take it away from her because she's entitled to eat.
I'm asking anybody who owes money, I'm going to go to his house and grab it.
What?
Exactly. How does that work without doing an appraisal to say what it's worth and what's not?
So
Anybody who owes me money, if I'm owed money and the guy didn't pay me, I could go to his house and take his car?
No, that you need to really do through beis din. Right?
So then what is this lady doing here?
So we're going to see weiter that an almana has a little bit more of a longer leash to do things without necessarily getting beis din involved, at least initially. My Taisus here says that it's really talking about because how does he say it again? Because it's considered a Tanai beis din. The kesuba is considered a Tanai beis din. So therefore, it's as if beis din said that she's allowed to take it, right? And then Rashi brings that really she's only allowed to grab karka, not metaltalin. But we're saying since she took it, right?
What makes it a Tanai beis din?
The kesuba, we said kesuba is a Tanai beis din, meaning even if somebody doesn't write a kesuba, she's entitled to the kesuba nowadays. So it's not much like it first.
So if I have a star from Yemen that he owes me money, I'm allowed to walk into his house and take his car?
No, you have to do it through beis din. But
so it's the same thing. What if it's a star? If I have a star that Kaplan owes me money,
I understand. So almana
I can walk into his house. What?
An almana has a different din.
Sam, you have to go through a foreclosure process. You can't just go do whatever you want.
So then why does almana have a right to walk in?
Almana is a different din.
That's what I'm trying to understand. That's all.
Well, because there's more of a chiyuv there.
I heard that. But if I have a star, there's also a chiyuv there.
No, because you have to first prove if the shtar was paid. You have to figure out the shtar. You have to figure out.
You have to figure out if the almana got the kesuba.
That is true.
Didn't get the kesuba. Well, what do you mean? So she has a right to walk into the house?
Yes. Yeah. No, we're saying
if
she did it. We're not saying she's allowed to. If she did it,
it's good.
Then she gets to keep it. Yes.
Good. I have no problem. So if Kaplan owes me money and I have a shtar, I could go into his
house
and take his car.
That could be. If you're ready with typhus, it could be. I don't remember the pratim. We got to wait to Nezikin for that. Right? But in some situations, yes, that would work.
Hold on. Let me call Leah and tell you guys not invite him for a meal. Hold on, let me stand by here. Jacob, you see what's going on here? The screen I have over here?
Yeah.
Kaplan.
Yeah.
He knows it's Shvers in Eretz Yisrael, so he can start up now.
It's all right, relax.
Anyways, okay, weiter. So Tani Nami Hachi, Amona Shetofsa Metalpim Mezanasema Shetofsa Tofsa. We have a price that what she grabbed, again, she can't grab it lechatchila. If she did it, she could keep it. There was a story with the daughter-in-law of Rav Shabsi. She grabbed a whole a sack of money, right? So that maybe answers what you're saying. That the chachamim did not have the koyach to take it away from her. Meaning, it sounds like they would want to take it away from her. They just didn't have the koyach because of these.
I think that's more because I'm not starting up with an amana problem.
That could be. I'm sure that's part. Well, I don't know if it's else that or else there was special, sort of what you're saying. But I don't know because of getting punished for starting with an amana, meaning more like that this was part of what they were masakin for her. So let's see. That's only if she took it because she needed food. Have a look kesuba, but if she did it to take her kesuba money, mafkina mina, then we take it away from her. Right? That we don't allow. Yeah, but it's a whole complicated thing exactly what the lumdus is behind that. Why one yes and one not. But let's see. So maskala marbaravashi, mashna kesuba. Why is kesuba different than mekarkoi v'lo metaltali? Because a kesuba, she only gets karka, not metaltalin. Right? If a woman wants to say, hey, but the dead guy left an expensive watch. I want it for my kesuba. She's not allowed. Right? Only karka. So mazainus nami mekarkoi. Mazainus also is karka v'lo metaltali. So why? So what's the difference? Since she's only allowed to take her food, she only had to collect things from karka, not metaltalin. So why are we changing the din of whether if she did go collect things, she's allowed to keep it for her food, but not for her kesuba, from the lumdus? Why should it make a difference? My the tafsa. So mazaini, you're allowed to grab it. I mean, she's not allowed to. If she grabbed it, it's considered grabbed. Hachanami l'kesuba. So to the kesuba too, if she grabbed it, then it should be grabbed. Meaning, Marvar Ravashi is saying, excuse me, he's saying that they both have the same din of collecting. The woman can only do collecting from karka, not from metalpin. So why should she be able to keep one and not for the other? Some of the Rav Yitzchak of Talil Ravina, Hachi Amrina Mishmei Rava, Kavasech. We did learn like you, so she could take both for the kesuba and for being fed. She's allowed to take. She's not allowed to take metalpin. If she did, she's allowed to keep it. Let's say the almana, her husband died, and now she's just hanging out for 2-3 years. She never asked to be fed. Right. So then, if the mazainus, she lost it. Was she taking so long to ask for her food? She didn't ask for 2 or 3 years, so she's out. She can't start asking now. The Gemara changes this in a second. What's that? Let's hash the shtaim if the shalosh reverse the stam. The Gemara asks. He said 2 or 3 years. Well, if you're saying after 2 years she doesn't get it, so then kol shekain after 3 years. So an answer is like kasha, kan ba'aniya, kan ba'ashira. One is talking about where she's poor, and one is talking about the 2 years is when she's poor. So if a poor woman didn't take money for 2 years, then she's out. But in ashira, maybe she's holding out. So because she has money, she has what to feed herself. So she goes 3 years. Inami, kan beprutza, kan betzinu. One is talking about a prutza. So if she's a parutz, so she has no problem going to Bezdin. She's not embarrassed. She doesn't have modesty, right? So after 2 years, yet she still didn't come.
Why is she consistent?
Let me just finish. So since she's not modest, so she didn't come for 2 years to Bezdin collect her money. So then it must be that she doesn't want it. But Tznuah, she's going to try and push off as long as she can to not have to go to Bezdin to collect. So therefore, she's out. 1 second, just one more line. And when we're saying for 2-3 years, it only means when she can no longer come to Bezdin and say, you owe me money. The Yarshim owe me money for the last 2-3 years. They were supposed to feed me, and they never gave me. Right? That she can't collect. But she can come to Bezdin and say, 5 years after she's married, she said, you know what? The first 5 years, I didn't want to be a headache. da 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 da. But now I decided I want to take. Then she's allowed to. So we're only saying that she can't taina on her money after 2 or 3 years limafreya. Yeah, go ahead. What are you saying?
I'm saying, why all these tfiyas? She has a tfiya on the money, doesn't she? Who cares how long she waited?
Has
She has a tfiya on the money. She has a.
Right, but after 2-3 years, she doesn't.
Why not?
But because we're saying that she should have, she didn't care to have it. So you can't go asking somebody 3 years, hey, give me back pay for the last 3 years.
If I borrowed from you $10,000 and I didn't come to you for 4 years for the money, and then all of a sudden I wake up one day and I need the money, and I say, okay, give me the $10,000. I have no tviya because it shows that I didn't want the money?
Yes. Well, if it's being...
Where's the get there? How long? If I wait
I don't
6
know.
months?
I wish I knew.
When you ask him, Chaim Cohen, can you ask him?
There must be a statute of limitations, no?
Yeah, I'm asking. Where's the...
No, I don't know. On a loan, I'm not sure.
Don't forget a statute of limitations. Maybe there's a way to say that I'm trying to be mochel on this guy. Not mochel, but I know he's in a tough place, so I'm not going to collect. And then all of a sudden, this person's in a tough place. And they remember that there was someone that owed the money.
Yeah, so what are you saying? So then you are allowed to collect in that case?
Why not?
I would think so, because you were being nice to the guy because you felt bad that he was in a bad place, but you're in a good place. You're like, okay, let him hold on to it for now. And if I need it later, I'll collect it later.
You know what?
And the guy finds himself in a tough place.
I'm not being tevei the money because this guy has no money, right? Now all of a sudden he won the lottery and he's worth $100 million. I want the money.
Right. Okay. I don't know how. I'm not sure what together is.
And she's not. And she's a prutza for going to Reza.
No, she's a prutza b'chlal. So memela, since she's a prutza, now how do you define a prutza? That's another one I didn't understand. Right? How do you define a prutza? We make a big announcement. She walks around with like a little thing on herself. I'm a prutza. Right?
That was the old. It was a famous line in the Supreme Court justice said one time. Said, I don't know if I can define it, but I'll know it when I see it. Okay,
maybe. Right, maybe.
He says, he brings down over here, there's a Rosh and a Rambam, the Hilchos Ishus, I guess to try to explain this. Does anybody have a Masifta over here?
I don't have a Masifta, no.
So I think along the lines of what Zevi's saying, I don't understand if a deal is a deal, right? I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
If I sell you my house and you don't move in, so I'm gonna say, you know what? I waited a couple months already. You never moved in. I'm just gonna take the house back.
Yeah, it could be. But here it's different because here they don't owe her money. They owe her food. They don't owe her money. Let's say Amud comes. Let's say Amud. 1 second. Let's say Amud says, "I'm a caterer. I don't need I don't need food from you guys. Give me money instead." I don't believe they can say that. They could say, "Oh, okay, we'll give you money instead." They could say, "No, we offer to feed you. You don't want food. Get it." And then that's it.
Why do you believe that the Gemara says food and not money?
What do you mean?
She doesn't know how to cook. She can't feed herself. Why does the Gemara B'dafka say food and not just give her a
she's
cash
living in
payment?
a man's house. The man was feeding her. So Mamela, she gets to continue. No,
I understand, but why does the Gemara specifically say food and not money?
Because that's what her husband did.
Food is the money. Food is money.
Really? If I want to send you every day porridge instead of blintzes, you know what I mean? It's money. It's real money. It's money.
Yeah, but that's not what the point. The takana for the woman was that she should be fed.
She should get money equivalent to be fed, correct?
No. She should be fed. I
But
think.
yeah, she got a lot of stuff. She got clothes, she got shoes, she got a roof over her head. What about all that?
I don't know. The Chachamim seem to have made a takana for food, and that's it. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, okay, so let's see. So, by Rabbi Yochanan. Yeah, Yisaimim Aimrim Nasnanu. The Yisaimim said we gave her money, right? And then Bihi Aimeres Lainatati, I never took it. Almi Lavi Raya. So who has to bring the proof? Meaning, who's considered the muhsik? Yeah. So Antom beis now. So Nechse Becheskas Yasmi Kaimi are the belongings in the Yisaimim, right? The Yisaimim Yashin. So it's their. Therefore it's theirs. Memei of Alamana Lavi Raya. The Almana has to bring a raya, right? Because Almaitzi Mechaver Al Varaya. No, maybe the husband's belongings are really considered part of the almana. Right. Rashi says again, because why should it be the almanas? She doesn't yarshin it. So Rashi says, because it's a shibud from a Tanai Bezdin. Tanai Bezdin is very strong. And therefore, since it's a Tanai Bezdin, it's if it goes to her by default. Yisaimim lahavi raya, and it's on the Yisaimim to bring a raya. So who's the muhsik here, and who has to be a mitzvah raya? So Tashema, the Tani Levi, almana, calls Machlokes Nisas. If she has not gotten remarried, Ali Yisaimim lahavi raya, it's on the Yisaimim to bring a raya that they already paid her. Nisas, once she got married, Aleh lahavi raya, then she has to bring a raya that she didn't get fed. See here, I don't know, maybe from this is a raya to what you're saying. Why is she getting back pay if she's already married? They say, what happened, right? She's married, she's remarried to somebody, right? And now she wants her back pay. Like, why? Was this support you? You don't need that. You obviously lived. So I don't know.
But you owe the money. She's owed the money.
Yeah, but we just got finished saying the way we understand the Gemara on Malach, at least the way I understood it, not the way you understood it, is that it's the support. So if you didn't get support, so Gazai Gazund, you didn't take, you lived, right? You're alive to tell the tale. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what. I'm going to blame it on Erev Yom Tiv that I don't have shot, but that's a cop out. That's a cop out. I wish that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Because I'm going to see me about Ashik. Listen, the Olam has tomorrow to do this stuff for Ian. So maybe Matzah Yom Tiv, the Olam will have shot.
We come over to the house. We come over to the house.
Gesundheit. I think I'd prefer to learn Sukkahs a little bit. But yeah. So I'm going to see me about Ashik Tanoi. It's a Machlokes Tanoi. Mecheres, meaning this Shiloh, who's considered the Muhsik, who has to bring the rise of Machlokes today. Mecheres kesuba. A woman is allowed. See, this is now. How do you understand this case? Right? An almana can go and sell. She can sell her husband's belongings, the kesuba, and she should write in the shtar mechira. I sold this for, again. Normally, it's only property she's allowed. It's only karka. So she said, I sold karka number one in order to feed myself. And I sold this karka in order for me to have my kesuba. Meaning, without going to beis din, she could do this. Rabbi Yossi says, no, she doesn't have to tell everybody the business. She could just sell it.
Tiago, anybody calling him?
Favorite wine or wood?
I am. I'm texting him.
I spoke to him. He's logging back in.
Can you hear me now? Okay. I really apologize. I'm gonna upgrade my phones hopefully over Yom Tov after things calm down and they get better service, get a better plan, whatever. Anyways, so again, we're saying that an almana can go and sell her husband's karka, and we had a machlokes tanaim whether she has to say why she's selling it. Tanakama says, Rabbi Yehuda says that she should say, I'm selling this field for kesuba and this field for food. And Rabbi Yossi says, no, she just sells it. So what's the machlokes? My lab al-kamifligi. We're mamish a little bit above halfway down. My lab al-kamifligi. Rabbi Yehuda damar by lefrushe. According to Rabbi Yehuda, who says that she has to actually explain it, savar. So he holds nichse becheskas yasmi kaimi. The nechasim are the chazaka of the yisam. Why she's selling fields. Rabbi Yossi savar loy by lefrushe. She does not have to explain why, because nechse becheskas almana kaimi, it's hers. Have to bring a right. So that's what the Gemara wants to think. But either way, you see that the almana is allowed to sell the property without first going to bezdin. Mimai. So the Gemara answers no. Mimai dilma de kuli alma nechse becheskas almana kaimi. Maybe all the belongings are really belong to the almana. And the Yisayim have to bring a raya. Okay, so then why is Rabbi Yehuda saying that she has to explain why she's selling the karka, which one she's selling for food, and which one she's selling for the kesuba? Rabbi Yehuda, Eitz Taiva Kamashma. Rabbi Yehuda is saying an Eitz Taiva, the Loi Likrula Rav Sanusa, so that people won't call her that she's a hungry woman and she's just like a fresser, right? Meaning, if they see this lady, she loses her husband, all of a sudden she starts liquidating all his assets and his fields. They're going to think, what's with this crazy lady, right? So Rabbi Yehuda is saying she could do that, but out Eitza she shouldn't. Because then people are going to think that she's just taking everything. I mean, what do they call the ladies? Money. What are they? There's a name for them. She's they get remarried and they
Gold digger.
gold digger. There you go. Right. She's a gold digger. Right. So people think, gold digger. Right. Dilay temahachi. How to buy Rabbi Yochanan. This Rabbi Yochanan asked the question. Tishut lemi masnisan. Why doesn't he answer this question from a Mishnah? What was the question? Right. A woman can sell for food, not even in bezdin. Because she writes, I sold this field for food. Ella mimasnisan. Right. Meaning, why does Rabbi Yochanan not answer this question from this Mishnah? No, so you can't bring rice from our Mishnah. The Eitz Taiva Kamashmalan. It's only an Eitz Taiva. Hachanami Eitz Taiva Kamashmalan. So to here, we're only saying it's an Eitz Taiva. So that's a proof that's an Eitz Taiva, not that she's mechuyev too. So therefore, we don't have a proof that it's a machlokes tanoim whether the almana is considered the muhsik or not. Inami, right? Again, just to reiterate, Rabbi Yochanan's question is Rabbi Yochanan wasn't sure who's the muhsik, right? That was his shaila. So we wanted to say the answer from this. So then why didn't we say Elamai? It must be that this Mishnah doesn't prove anything, right? All it proves is that it doesn't prove. No, it doesn't prove. But we could say that the reason why Rabbi Yehuda said that she should tell everybody why she's selling the fields is that she doesn't look like a pig. Inami, no, the way to learn this machlokes tanaim is that the nechasim is the chasaka of the yasim. Behind no time of the Rabbi Yossi. And why does Rabbi Yossi say that she doesn't have to tell everybody? Like Abaye Kshisha, it's amazing, right? How often in Shas do we have Abaye Kshisha? I think this is the third time in the last 3 daf that we had the older Abaye. Damar Abaye Kshisha, Mashal to Rabbi Yossi, unless we say that he was in beis medrash those days, so maybe that's why he became, I don't know. Damar Abaye Kshisha, Mashal to Rabbi Yossi, Lama Davar Daima. What's it comparable to? L'shchiv meira she'amar. So you have a guy who's dying, and he says to somebody, Tenu masayim zuz l'plani bal chayvi. Go give 200 zuz to my bal chayv, to the guy I owe money to. But he didn't say that. He did not say give it to him to pay back the loan. He just said go give 200 zuz to my bal chayv. Ratza b'chayv noitlan. So now this guy, the recipient, the guy who lent him the money, can take it as the chayv, Or Ratzah b'matana noitan. If he wants, he could take it b'matana. The guy dying never told him why he's giving him the 200. So he could do it either way he wants. On Talmud Aleph now. In b'matana noitan, and if he takes it as a matana, like kach yafa koicha, didn't that make his koich very nice? Meaning, because he gets double payment. He got $200 from the guy dying, 200 zuz, whatever it was, and he could also go back to the Yoshim after the guy dies and say, "Hey, give it to me." Right? So that's what Rabbi Yossi means. Rabbi Yossi saying that by the almana not telling everybody why she's selling things, then she could just sell all the fields and say, "Oh, that was for my food, and now I need to sell more fields for my kesuba." Meaning she could pull shtick. She could pull shtick. Fine. So it says, "Ketzad mecheres." How does she go about selling this? How does she go about selling the field? Amar of Daniel, Barav Katina, Amar of Huna, mecheres achas l'shnayim asar chodesh. What she does is she sells one field for 12 months. V'lekeach mefarnas achas l'shoshim yom, and she takes once every 30 days. She takes it's what do you call it? The payout. Meaning she says to a guy, "I'm selling you the field for the next 12 months. You're going to pay me $100, $1,000, or let's say $1,200. But each month he gives her $100. Why? Why do it by month? Because let's say she dies. So why then the money goes to the Yisaimim, to the Yarshim. So since the money goes to the Yarshim, therefore she would have to give it back. Tell him to come and I'll be with him in a minute. Right? So they have to give it back. But if she would take all the money initially for the first year, then the Yarshim might lose out. Right? So that's what we're saying for Rebbe Yehuda. Amar mecheres l'shisha chadashim. He says, no, she sells it for 6 months, and then she does it every 30 days. Right? So again, there's no machlokes here. They're both saying that she signs a contract for a year, that the sale is going to be for a year, or that the payout can be for a year, but he does it for 12. He pays out for 12 months, and this one does. He says the other sheet says do it for 6 months. The Taniq said the Rav Huna mecheres l'shnayim asar chodesh v'lekeach mefarnas achas l'shoshim yom. You sell it for 12 months. Right, every 12 months she sells it. I don't think I explained that properly. She sells a new property every 12 months, but she gets the payment once a month. And she gets a payment once a month. And then you have the other sheet that Tanakav said, Rebbi Yehuda, she sells for 6 months. So she sells property every 6 months. I guess it's going to be dependent on how much the properties are worth and how much money she's supposed to be fed. It can't just be a blanket thing here. Right? I mean, she can't go sell a property that's worth millions of dollars and all she needs is $1,000 to live for the year. So I don't know exactly how that works. Right? Fine. So Amar Ameimar, Hilchasa, what's the halacha? Mecheres l'shisha chadashim v'lekeach mefarnas achos l'shoshim yom. She takes it once every 30 days, but she sells for 6 months. Amar Rav Ashi Lameimar, the Rav Huna mai. So what do you hold the Rav Huna's psak? Right? That you do 12 months. Amar le lo shmieli. I don't hear it. Klaimer lo svirli. I don't agree with it. So therefore, he says you do it for 6 months instead of 12 months. Meaning, if you keep things more in the short term, then it can avoid issues. Yeah. Okay. I hope that was all understandable. What time? What's the Yom Tif? 8:15. 8:15.
Yeah, sounds like it makes sense.
8:15. Okay. What's the Yom Tif? 8:15. Bez Hashem. All right. Thanks for
And
tuning
we
in.
gotta make a schedule for Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. That will have to. I don't know. Later, l'chayra would be. I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, guys, come please.
Chicago, lighting one of those patio heaters and all that. It's not an issue as long as you don't use the electric lighter.
As long as you don't use an electric ignition, then you can use it. Yeah.
And shutting it off, you can't do.
Shutting it off, you can't do. You'll have to get a small paint tank. No?
Yeah, that's what I had. So I have enough of them. Yeah. Okay. Just in case.
All right.
Tiago, when are you going to
Thank
send
you.
out the text?
Have a Yom Tov. Thank you.
Rabbi, am I allowed to drop
Yeah.
something off at the cleaners today?
You're allowed to. Yeah.
I'm allowed to drop off today? Okay.
Yes.
Wait, what did you say to them? Sorry.
Tiago.
But as soon as Do it.